Today's stories include Meta is reportedly about to announce an Xbox headset, Mindseye's developer is seemingly in big trouble, and Sonic is finally crossing over with Spongebob. We'll have all this and more because this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Yo, what's up? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily from Monday, June 23rd, 2025. I'm one of your hosts, Blessing Adeoye Jr. Joining me is JK Games' Jerica.
Howdy.
Jerica, welcome back to the show.
I'm here. I'm ready to do this. I can't wait for later, but I am excited to talk about games with you this morning.
Now, why can't you wait for later?
Oh my God. Are we going to talk about Death Stranding like the rest of the world's talking about Death Stranding too?
We're definitely going to talk about Death Stranding too. So, of course,
boy.
that's the reason we have you in town. We flew you out so that we could have you on our Death Stranding 2 review as one of the main reviewers because you're a huge fan of Death Stranding 1.
Yes, loved it. Great journey. I was one of the sickos that enjoyed walking around beautiful environments, and I didn't get too bored with it. So yeah. I can't wait to talk about what I think about this one, the new one.
I'm really excited to talk to you about it because it's funny, Death Stranding 1 came out, it was 2019, right? It was like November. I was coming off of playing Pokemon Sword. And I remember putting in probably around 20 hours into it and I just fell off because my brain just didn't click. And then the Steam Deck came out, and I believe it is the director's cut that's available on Steam.
Yeah.
And the director's cut, I think, just fixed any issue that I had with Death Stranding. Because that is when I fell in love with it. And that's where my excitement for Death Stranding 2, when that got announced, just skyrocketed. Where I'm like, oh shit, I can't wait to get back in and just fucking walk all around the country. And this time Australia.
It's definitely one of those games that I don't just recommend to all my gamer friends. Death Stranding 1 specifically, because of those nuanced things. But I do have one friend, and literally because of the Steam Deck, she ended up completing it and doesn't play games like that at all. So it speaks to some people, and I love that more people now get to experience the first one, even though the second one's out, and then people are going to be like, let me see what the first one's about. They got a lot of ways to do it now, and it is improved with the director's cut.
Exactly. Now, I introduced you as from JK Games.
Yes.
Jerica, for those who may not know, do you want to talk about yourself a little bit? What is JK Games? And also tell me about more of the things that you're doing.
Oh, yeah. I'm Jerica from JK Games Podcast, where me and Kayla dissect video game news every week. We've been on a little bit of hiatus because we've been working on our other show, which is on the same channel, Clickerbait, reviewing and talking through the season 2 of The Last of Us that just finished on HBO. And since we're getting back into doing games stuff with JK Games, we're excited to try something new. So you'll have to tune in to see exactly what that's going to be for us. But so far, we're excited, and I'll just say this: we're about to play Tears of the Kingdom for a whole month. That'd be my little
super exciting
peek behind the curtain. Finally, on my Switch 2, that's how I wanted to beat it.
I mean, honestly, I'm jealous because I'm one of those people. I mean, like many of us out here who played it on the Switch 1, and I kind of wish. Not that I wish I waited for the Switch 2, because I'm glad I played it at release, because of course you want to be part of that hype cycle. But when I see people who are picking up Tears of the Kingdom for the first time on Switch 2, I'm like, fuck, man.
I know, it looks so
It looks
good.
fucking incredible.
I booted up just to take a peek, and I was like, yeah, I'm so glad I waited.
But
I'm also one of those people how could you not wait to beat this game? But I knew it. I could smell a new console on the horizon. So I just I'll go on to something else. I'll come back.
Hell yeah. So go check out JK Games. Go check out, what was it? Clickerbait.
Yes.
If you want to go back and listen to more Last of Us 2 impressions.
If you are obsessed with The Last of Us, you should definitely check out our Clickerbait episodes for sure.
Hell yeah. Remember, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us with the Kinda Funny membership on Patreon, YouTube, and now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. For a chance to be a part of the show, some of your thoughts and opinions as YouTube super chats as we go. Housekeeping for you. It's a big week. Mike and Roger are freaking it again. That's right. On Friday, June 27th, Mike will go step for step on a treadmill with Norman Reedus in another literal marathon stream for the launch of Death Stranding 2. But this time, they have a few surprises. Get ready to go the distance because they will stream as long as you support. Can they make it past KFGD on Monday? How high will Mike's heart rate be? How much chilies will they order? Find out Friday, June 27th, exclusively on Twitch. And then Saturday, we got a lot happening this weekend. Greg is throwing his own Kind of Funny Game Showdown Championship Parade in San Francisco. Meet in front of the Ferry Building at 10 a.m. and then walk the Embarcadero to Square Pie Guys, all while celebrating the man who did the impossible and led Team Blue to its third consecutive championship, Greg Miller. Bring signs, Greg, goddamn it, fucking writing this shit. Bring signs and prepare for the weirdest walking meet and greet of all time. That is very exciting. I do have plans to be there as well. If everything goes right, I'm gonna be there on the parade just to hang out, just have a good time, and maybe get some Square Pie Guys. So come through to that if you're in the area, if you want to come out to the area for a 2-hour parade. Remember, we're an 11-person business all about live talk shows. So today, after KFGD, you're going to get Gamescast, which is our Death Stranding 2 on the Beach review. And then after Gamescast is a Kind of Funny podcast with a special guest. And then after that is the stream, which is Dune Awakening with Mike and Nick. If you're a Kind of Funny member, Gregway for today is 36 minutes of Roger and Mike attempting to buy a treadmill. Roger describes it as absolute must-watch content. Thank you to our Patreon producers, Carl Jacobs, Omega Buster, and Delaney Twining. Today we're brought to you by Cash App and Mood, but we'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin with what is, and forever will be, the Roper Report. It's time for some news. We have 9 stories today.
Baker's dozen!
Starting with our number 1, Meta to announce an Xbox Quest 3S this week, it is claimed. I'm pulling from Mike Straw at Insider Gaming. Meta and Xbox appear set to expand up their relationship with a new hardware announcement. According to a new report, Meta will be announcing an Xbox-branded version of their Meta Quest 3S virtual reality headset. Per Kevin Lopez of Game Sandwich, the Xbox Quest 3S will be announced on Tuesday, June 24th. The device will reportedly cost $399 US and include an Xbox-themed black and green headset with matching accessories such as an Xbox wireless controller and an Elite strap. It'll also include 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. Like the original Meta Quest 3S, it'll have the same 128 gigabytes of storage. Despite the recent reliability of the source of the information, it should still be taken with a grain of salt until officially announced or independently verified. Lopez, however, did have information regarding Deadpool VR's announcement at Summer Game Fest and the release date of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 Plus 4. Jerica, an Xbox VR headset from Meta, what does that do for you?
I'm gonna be honest, not much, but I will say this because like I'm a mainly PlayStation gal, so like I have my VR too, and I was hesitant to see what other. And I'm gonna actually let me take a step back. I only play Beat Saber. That's the only thing I've
as
used
your like
out.
go-to VR title.
Yeah,
understandable.
That's it. So like, and I was a little bit bummed to hear that Beat Saber was getting like no more updates for PlayStation, which sucks because we've bought all these tracks and things, and we're not going to be able to get the new stuff. So now what I do with my library that I have here, but for me, like, it doesn't do much. If anything, like, I think it's a positive thing because like it just gives more access to Xbox titles in new ways, and it's not surprising since the ROG Ally is something that's already getting the Xbox treatment already.
Yeah, I think for me, I come out with a similar takeaway, right? As far as like this being another step into what the new Xbox is, like all the walls coming down, Xbox being like, yo, our ecosystem is one that we want people to come through and partner with. And like in the way that the ROG Xbox Ally is going to be a way for you to have the Xbox experience on the go. This makes sense, but I wouldn't have predicted it, right?
Yeah.
Of like, oh yeah, I guess a MetaQuest Xbox version is doing the exact same thing that ROG is doing with the Ally X, but just in a different way. I find it fascinating because I don't expect any VR software output from Xbox first party. So like really like what they're doing here is just I think they're viewing it as just another screen, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
sure.
like Xbox Game Pass, like you can play your flat screen games in VR as well as your VR games.
Yeah,
right?
like
so
this massive display, right? So like,
yeah,
it makes that does make sense, and that's in a way like now that you say it, like does excite me to like know maybe that would be a selling point for me. Like, instead of having to play on my tiny monitor, like, let me put on this massive 100-inch screen in this virtual space and play this game this way.
Yeah.
So it'd be cool to see if those games that I'm already playing on my Xbox, I could see in a headset, see what that could be like.
Yeah, it's funny because going back, I remember there being interviews with Xbox higher ups talking about, would Xbox ever do a VR headset? Like, is this in the cards in the same way that PlayStation has done the VR stuff? And I remember the interviews, Xbox being like, no, we don't really see that as a future for us in terms of like the viability of us leaning all the way into that market. This is one of those cases of being able to have your cake and eat it too, where, hey, we don't have to dedicate a big portion of our hardware support and a big portion of what would be expected as software support and like having to develop games for this thing and doing all this stuff to VR. If we just look at people who are already doing VR in the case of Meta and go, oh yeah, just put the Xbox logo on it. Put the Xbox logo on it, sell it with months of Game Pass, and also bundle in an Xbox controller. Call it a day.
It's smart. Like,
it's super smart.
Yeah,
it's something that I think even on the PlayStation side, I wouldn't be surprised. PlayStation made the bet with PSVR 2, and I think somewhere along the way they probably knew that the bet wasn't going to pan out in the way that they wanted it to, right? Like, I feel like the lack of first-party support for VR 2 past like that first month even, right?
Yeah,
like already says volumes in terms of how early PlayStation was like, fuck, this is not the investment that we wanted to make here. But hey, we're already here, so put out the VR2 hardware, let it be a thing. It'll connect to PC later on. Like, we'll figure this all out kind of thing. This feels like a way more feasible and a way more, I think, tenable way of doing this for everybody involved, where I think even on the Meta side, right, like, you're looking for more reasons for people to want to pick up a Quest. You're looking for more reasons for people to be interested in the hardware. I think being able to, again, slap an Xbox logo on it and like have this Xbox collaboration thing happen with it makes sense for opening this up to another audience to maybe have interest in this device.
I agree.
So this isn't a thing that you think you're going to ever pick up?
It depends. I don't know. Like I said, like, I really hadn't, until you brought it up, like, maybe I do want another way to experience games. And if I can have because this is basically what, integration with my Xbox, like, Game Pass, like, library, that could be just another place I can play it.
Yeah.
I'm not taking a VR headset with me when I travel or anything. That's for my handheld. But, if I want to change it up in my space and play a game somewhere else, I think that's pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because I was talking to Greg about this right before the show, and this actually kind of feeds into story number 2 a bit. Yeah, talking about how I have my ROG Ally at home that I never use because I'm always just using my Steam Deck instead. And it's funny because like our ROG Ally, powerful device, right? Yeah. Like, I can probably get more out of that than the Steam Deck, but I can't, but I just don't use it, right? Like, it is about the ecosystem at the end of the day for me, where I'm like, I just like that it boots into, and I know I can change this, right? But I just like that it boots into Steam OS, and it automatically is seamless. My emulated games are there, and my Steam library is right there, and then I put it down, and I go to my computer, and I play more games there that way, right? I was talking to Greg about it in the context of me wanting to start playing the Alters, because I have the PS5 version. I was like, I want to play the PC version. And so I'm getting the PC version of Alters so I can try it out, mainly so I can play it on my Steam Deck. But I brought it up in the sense of Greg was then like, well, it is on Xbox Game Pass. And I paused for a second. I was like, can I make that work in the same way? Theoretically, yes, but I'm still in that place where there's just like enough hoops that I have to jump through where I'm like, I'd rather just get it on Steam because I'm already in this ecosystem.
No, I align with you there. Like, I don't need an extra barrier to prevent me from just hitting start. Like, yeah. I get it.
I want to bring story number 2 into this, right? So story number 2, Microsoft adds Steam games to its Xbox PC app on Windows. This is from Tom Warren at The Verge. And the reason why I bring it up is because this could solve all my issues.
Yep.
Microsoft is starting to test its new aggregated gaming library in its Xbox PC app on Windows. Xbox insiders will now be able to see their Steam and Battle.net games all within the Xbox app this week, making it a single launcher for most installed PC games. This new consolidated library will roll out to the Xbox app later this year, as well as new devices like the ROG Xbox Ally handhelds. It's part of Microsoft's efforts to make the Xbox app on Windows the home of PC gaming and compete with Steam and Steam OS by combining Windows and Xbox. Quote, when a player installs a game from a supported PC storefront, it will automatically appear in My Library within Xbox PC app, as well as the most recent list of titles in the sidebar, making it easier than ever to jump back into your games, explains Manisha Oza, a product manager of the Xbox platform. Microsoft says support for additional PC storefronts will roll out over time. This is the biggest threat to my Steam Deck right now. Just so you know, like when the Xbox Ally comes out next later this year, and if it really is a thing of I'm booting up to the Xbox app or whatever it is, right, and I can just see all of my games, including my Steam games and all that shit, that's a game changer for me.
Yeah, this whole integration would be just the biggest selling point for just played Xbox literally anywhere now, and then be able to have this, like, to your point, just all my games in one spot versus having to open another launcher. Because I actually sold my Steam Deck and got the Ally instead because I wanted that flexibility with other libraries that I had.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's a little extra. I mean, it's running Windows. Like, it's just like I got a PC in my hand. And I'm like,
when I booted, because we got really lucky, right? Where like years ago, Greg had like asked for ROG Allies for coverage, and I think they just either never got back to him, or they just go back to him really late, or he didn't see the email. Something happened to where we didn't get them until fairly recently. And when I got my ROG Ally, I booted it up. And it booted up directly into Windows, and I felt disgusted. Yeah,
it's like, do you want a copy of Office while you're here?
Yeah,
you know, like, no.
I'm like, brother, I have a laptop. I wanted to use my laptop. But like for people who want that experience, like,
and I've bought games on in other places, so like I want to be able to also play them here if I can. So, but yeah, to your point, like I would love to see a consolidated library on all the PC things in my life. So including like even at my computer, like seeing all my games in one spot, that solves the problem. I don't have to open up something else to get to this game.
So when we're talking about the Xbox app, just in general, and like the future of Xbox, the direction of Xbox, I know you mentioned that you're primarily a PlayStation person in terms of the way that you play. Does what Xbox, with what they're doing, does it intrigue you at all? Is it something that you pay attention to and go, interesting?
All the time, just because like there are titles that come out, and I think that is the appeal of Game Pass, and that's where I literally have, I'm part of all these ecosystems now for different reasons, but they all have their teeth in me. Yeah. But I do love the fact that like if I'm subscribed to Game Pass, I can try out these games and have some time with them and not have to commit to a $70 price tag, $80 price tag on certain titles. But yeah, like just being able, I'm always paying attention, and I want that whole experience to be better if I'm subscribing to it every month. Like I want to be able to play where I am. And they're just giving everyone a means to pick up a game on Game Pass, like making it easier.
Yeah. I was talking about this recently with folks that like as time goes, especially this year, I think ever since the Steam Deck really, but it's compounded more and more where I'm just straight up a PC gamer. Where I'm straight up like, I'm playing, it's like, but my third party game time is now like solidly split between PlayStation and PC, and I think PC is just taken over because of like having a 4080 at home and then also my Steam Deck where it's like, well, this is just nice to have.
It is nice to have.
I prefer this over trophies. I'm sorry. But yeah, one of the big hurdles with me is just how spread out everything is.
Yeah.
I got Steam, I got Epic, I got Xbox, but then also I have like 2 Epic accounts for some reason. I think I made one for Fortnite.
Yeah,
I
that
made
too.
a separate one.
Like, I forgot about like the Epic store too. Like I have some things on there that I've bought, and like, and that's where and I just forget that I own them. So Xbox is making it easier. I think the collaboration with Steam is perfect. I think being able to do everything like that in one place, so I don't forget that I've already bought this somewhere else.
Yeah, that's great. I want to bring in some super chats for you. Samson L writes in and says, for Jerica from your friends at Grow Up Level Up. What is Grow Up Level Up?
An amazing other show you should also check out. They've had me on twice. I even had a hot dog costume on the first time. They wanted to interview me. I'm like, why? I'm not. Why?
I mean,
I was a
your personality, Jerica.
I guess, the hot dog costume definitely helped with that.
Speaking of, Zeke Speak writes in and says, the way I screamed when I saw Jerica here, hell yeah, bro. We need that yeehaw energy at KF.
Lego.
Are you known for yeehaw energy?
I mean, yeah.
Where are you flying in from?
I'm from Alabama.
Oh,
so,
hell yeah.
Yeah, yippee-ki-yay.
Let's fucking
You know what
go.
I'm saying? Let's go.
And then we got one more from Cognitive Clips who says, can we call this pairing Blessica? I'm gonna. That rolls off the tongue more so than like most other pairings.
True.
Like when I'm with Gary Whitta, people just fucking struggle.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try it.
Yeah. Jerica, we're going to move on to story number 3. Mindseye developer Build a Rocket Boy begins layoff process amid disastrous launch, studio sources say. This is Wesley Yin-Poole at IGN. Build a Rocket Boy has told staff a redundancy process has begun amid the disastrous launch of Mindseye. The cuts could affect over 100 employees, studio sources have told IGN. One person who asked to remain anonymous in order to protect their career told IGN there's no word yet on exactly how many staff are affected, but the standard 45-day consultation process starts today, June 23rd, which, according to UK law, is triggered when an employer proposes 100 or more redundancies within a 90-day period. IGN understands Build a Rocket Boy currently has around 300 UK employees, with around 200 abroad. IGN has asked Build a Rocket Boy for comment. Jerica, have you been keeping up with the Mindseye situation?
Listen, I remember the trailer. I got caught up with it this morning, and I was like, oh, this game didn't do so well. This sort of makes sense now.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I had no idea, like, the studio itself was, like, being led by, you know, a former...
Rockstar.
Rockstar creative lead. I don't know what he did before. So it is surprising, like, you know... It seems like there was a lot of promise here. I haven't had any time with the game, but I've read reviews and I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
That sucks. The trailer was cool though. I do remember the trailer and I was like, this looks promising. It's just a brand new IP from a brand new studio, which I feel like sometimes is mostly misses, especially if the gameplay can't back up what it is. But yeah, this news, it sucks. It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks because you hate to see people lose their jobs and you hate to see, I think, any studio close, right?
Yeah.
Build a Rocket Boy is a very interesting one. So to double back, right? Leslie Benzies is the lead of it. He was the former president of Rockstar North, right?
Okay,
Which
really
was,
important. Okay.
yeah,
Not
so,
just,
subsidiary of Rockstar, like
Okay.
Rockstar Games overall, right? But like he
Yeah.
had a high position at Rockstar there and then went and built his own thing. The fascinating thing that remains for me, because I'm with you as far as the original trailer for Mindseye was very intriguing.
Yeah.
What was even more intriguing for me was it being announced coming off of Everywhere. Now, do you remember Everywhere?
No.
It's a platform that I still don't think has released, right? But like, it was Build a Rocket Boys like coming out like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're proposing, right? It felt like a platform, like almost like a Roblox or a like Dreams, but like a bit
Interesting.
more realistic and AAA.
Okay.
Was sort of the presentation of it. And then Mindseye was announced as something coming out of Everywhere, right? Like kind of a
Oh.
creation within it.
Yeah.
But toward like as we got closer and closer to Mindseye, I feel like there's been more and more of a separation of Mindseye and like its origins in Everywhere, but all of that is under Build a Rocket Boy.
Okay.
And so I always had the question of what is the relation? Like, what is the deal with Everywhere? And like, what the fuck is up with how you're marketing Mindseye? It feels like you're sending it out to die, sort of thing.
Yeah, I had no idea and did not gather that from the initial trailer that I saw. So
Yeah, I mean, listen, I have the Wikipedia pulled up.
Okay, let's
for
go.
Everywhere, so I can break it down for you, right? So Everywhere is an upcoming massive multiplayer online game and game platform with an integrated game creation system developed by Build a Rocket Boy. The players start in the city of Utopia, where they access different experiences such as biomes surrounding the city, different game modes, user-generated environments called arcs, or the game Mindseye. Each of these experiences I don't know if that part is still true. Each of these experiences can be accessed via portals in Utopia City or the Everywhere menu. Everywhere is set in an open world made up of Utopia City and 4 biomes. While Utopia is a safe zone, the biomes have PvP and PvE elements. It then goes on to talk about how like each district has like, each district is like its own game mode. So it has like racing, like an art gallery, a combat district, and like more shit going on. All this shit is cooked.
Yeah.
All this shit is absolutely fucking cooked when you're talking about you're laying off 100 people.
Yeah.
At least from your studio. Which sucks, breaks my heart. You hate to see creative ideas like this get shut down. But like from the get-go, this seemed like a very lofty thing that they're going after.
It did, and like just you like recapping, like I had no idea. You know, obviously this might be a side on like just me not being invested in it, but like I had no idea this even was a thing. I guess they were trying to do like a Grand Theft Auto Online sort of like build your own situation with like but just I guess you can do literally whatever you want. I don't know if like what your assets are, what you could build with, but yeah, that's a tough project. That's a tough endeavor.
Tough is
and
putting
then
it lightly.
a whole like dedicated game pulling from that. I wouldn't want to do that. That doesn't sound like a great idea.
Here's my thing. Is I look at this, right, as we read the story and as we talk about this, and I think about how fucking good Dreams is.
Yeah.
And like how I think Dreams is never going to be appreciated for how fucking good it is, as far as it being the creation thing, it being filled with user-generated content. A lot of that user-generated content is really good and really special. And then Media Molecule did the thing where they had original campaigns in there. Mm-hmm. They had what's it called, Art's Dream, I believe, which is like the original campaign that they made in there. But then also Tren, which is a really cool little toy train puzzle game. Like there were a lot of really cool creative things happening in Dreams, and Dreams feels somewhat comparable to like what they were trying to go for here. But Dreams did it with, I think, a lot more grace, but also not great marketing / like not just a tough thing to sell to people.
It is, and the concept itself seems for anybody just seems a little overbearing, like to hop in and like, oh, am I making a game or am I playing these other games?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what comes of this, and yeah, it stinks, but it just seemed very lofty to your point, and yeah.
Jerica, we're gonna talk about Sega accidentally revealing sales numbers for a bunch of their games. But before we do, I want to tell you about patreon.com/kindafunny and youtube.com/kindafunnygames, where you can go and get the Kinda Funny membership, which allows you to get shows ad-free. And speaking of ads, let us tell you about our sponsors.
This episode's brought to you by Cash App. We've all had those moments getting meals out with people that always end in some kind of awkward experience of having to figure out the least complicated way to just get it done. Or even after figuring it out, have you used an app and ended up having to wait days for your money to finally show up? What if we could solve all of that easily? Cash App is a completely different experience, fast, easy, and safe, and a great way to receive and transfer money to family and friends. It's incredibly easy to set up. You just enter your phone or email and some other basic information, no bank account needed, and then there's no waiting around for days. It's your money, you shouldn't have to wait. We love using Cash App because it's fast, it's safe, and it just makes life way less stressful. For a limited time only, new Cash App users can use our exclusive code to earn some additional cash. For real, there's no catch. Just download Cash App and sign up. Use our exclusive referral code KINDAFUNNY in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account. Terms apply. That's money, that's Cash App. This episode is brought to you by Mood. Let me tell you about the online cannabis company that's revolutionizing how we deal with life's challenges. From sleepless nights to stress-filled days, Mood.com has created an entire line of functional gummies that target specific health concerns with 100% federally legal THC blends. They'll deliver them discreetly right to your doorstep, and you can get 20% off your first order at Mood.com with promo code KINDAFUNNY. I've been having a great time trying out all their different gummies, and I'm loving how each one feels. Their sleepy time gummies will knock you out in about 15 minutes flat. No hangovers, no grogginess, and their Epic Euphoria gummies are perfect for those days when nothing's going right. And best of all, not only does Mood stand behind everything with an industry-leading 100-day satisfaction guarantee, but as I mentioned, listeners get 20% off their first order with code KINDAFUNNY. So head to Mood.com, browse their amazing selection of functional gummies, and find the perfect gummy for whatever you are dealing with. And remember to use promo code KINDAFUNNY at checkout to save 20% on your first order.
And we're back with story number 4. Sega accidentally revealed sales numbers for Sonic, Like a Dragon, Persona, and more. This is Andy Robinson at Video Games Chronicle. Sega has accidentally revealed the sales numbers of many of its recent major releases, including games in the Like a Dragon, Sonic, and Persona series. The sales numbers were included in a recent presentation document uploaded to Sega Sammy's investor relations website. A table of sales numbers was found to have been hidden in one slide of the presentation. The document has since been removed by Sega Sammy, but not before Reset Era archived the sales numbers in full. According to the document, Persona 5 Royal has sold over 7 million units. Sonic Frontiers has sold some 4.5 million copies, and recent Yakuza titles Infinite Wealth and Like a Dragon have shifted 1.66 million and 2.86 million. I have a list here, Jericho. I'm just going to go ahead and read the list. So, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, 1.66 million units. And you can holler if any of these are like super shocking to you.
Okay.
Like a Dragon, The Man Who Erased Their Name, has sold 0.96 million units. So like just under a million. Persona 3 Reload, 2.07 million. Sonic Superstars, 2.43 million. Sonic Frontiers, 4.57
Very
million.
surprising. Wowza.
Like high or low for you?
Higher. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to throw shade at
What you trying to say about
I'm
Sonic?
not, because I love Sonic, but I was just like, okay, the want for Sonic is still there. It's it's cool.
It's funny because I was talking about this over the weekend. I was streaming and there was somebody in chat that was like, why hasn't there been like a great Sonic game since Sonic Mania? And I was like, all right, first of all, you watch your mouth, all right? Sonic Frontiers is good, almost great. And then also like Sonic Superstars and like Sonic Cross Shadow, but I digress, right? Yeah. I kind of understand the sentiment a little bit, but it doubles back on like, brother, these, I say brother a lot lately. It's the Alabama in you that's
I know,
infecting me. But it's the fact that I think Sonic has the Pokemon problem not extrapolated to like the amount that Pokemon has it, right? Because Pokemon, biggest IP in the world, there are so many parts of the ship that you have to maintain, whether it be the anime, big movies, cards, Pokemon Go, like so many moving parts are involved in Pokemon that the video games have to suffer because Pokemon Company and Nintendo look at it and go, ah, shit, we got to have a Pokemon game come out every year to year and a half because we have to keep the generations going because that's how we maintain this business. You know what I mean? That's how we push this thing forward. And so sometimes we get Pokemon games that fucking run janky as fuck.
Yeah.
And that's how that happens. Sega with Sonic, similar thing, not extrapolated to the amount of Pokemon, where with Sonic, you have Sonic movies, you have Sonic merchandise, you have Sonic pop-ups in San Diego that I go to buy a chili dog, right? Like Sonic is very big outside of just the video games. And so I think Sega looks at Sonic and kind of deprioritizes like the amount of polish a Sonic video game needs to have. As long as we're getting a Sonic game every year. And like it's not mainline, of course. This year it's going to be Sonic Racing. Last year it was a remaster. Year before that it was 2D. Year before that it was Sonic Frontiers. But like this shit's coming out every year regardless. You're not going to get a Sonic game delayed out of November to the next year.
Yeah.
Because that's how it's a machine. They have to look at it like a machine, which is sad. But also, listen, if you're a Sonic fan, you know to expect 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10
Makes
greatness.
Sense. Yep.
You know what I mean? Going down the list even further, you got Total War Warhammer 3, which sold 2.34 million units. Shin Megami Tensei 5, including Vengeance, sold 2.11 million. Yakuza Like a Dragon, 2.86 million. Persona 5 Royal, including the remastered version, 7.25 million units. Team Sonic Racing hit 3.5 million. And then finally, Total War 3 Kingdoms has 3.21 million units sold. I love looking at numbers because I think they're fascinating and really help orient how we talk about these things and how we view these things. Persona 5 Royal selling 7.25 million units is not surprising to me, but then it makes me wonder, like, if you bundle in core or like base Persona 5, how much more are we talking? Are we talking about a 15 million unit seller or like a 13 million unit seller? Either way, really good.
Yeah.
Like, shout out to Persona for being such a hit franchise for Sega.
Agreed.
Let's move on. Actually, before we move on, let me take one more peek at Super Chats, where T Yippie 7 writes in and says, shout out to Sika's Frick on YouTube, who has been doing a Death Stranding 2 daily counter for over 100 days now. They have less than 1K subs, so want to send some KFBF love. Wow. Hell yeah. Good for Sika's Frick for being such a Death Stranding fan that they're like, we're counting down 100 days till this game. You gotta love it. All right, let's talk about Story number 5, speaking of Sega, Persona 4 Revival and Stranger Than Heaven are due out after April 1st, 2026. This is Sal Romano at Gematsu. Atlus's Persona 4 Revival and Ryuga Gotoku Studios' Stranger Than Heaven will launch in or after fiscal year 2027, which runs between April 1st, 2026 or to March 31st, 2027. According to a Sega Sammy Management Meeting 2025 presentation published on June 18th. Persona 4 Revival was announced for PS5, Xbox, and PC earlier this month with a teaser trailer showcasing early development content. Stranger Than Heaven was first announced at the Game Awards 2024, but was officially titled with a new trailer earlier this month. Platforms have yet to be announced. So you're waiting until at least April of next year before you're saying out of these games, but probably a lot longer than that, I'd imagine.
Which I'm fine with. I will say, like, this Stranger Than Heaven does... Like, I've always wanted to get into the Yakuza series, like, but it's just so overwhelming. Like, I don't know where to start, and then, like, am I gonna enjoy my time? Because I don't know any of these characters. But Stranger Than Heaven looks like something I definitely want to pick up because it is its own thing.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to play this. Like, it looks like something right up my alley. Being a detective, going through different time periods. I'm like, that's my thing. So I like weird stuff like that.
I'm 1000% the same way, where I know if I ask the Yakuza audience where to start with Yakuza, like, there's multiple great places to start.
Yeah.
Pick up Yakuza 0, pick up Like a Dragon, which I did, right? Like, I think for me, it's also the start and stop thing I have with Yakuza, where I almost get intimidated, where I get 10 hours into Infinite Wealth, and then I'm like, all right, I got probably 30 more hours of this game, and then an entire franchise of like games that I'd want to get into.
Yeah.
I think my most successful attempt into getting into RGG Studios games was playing Judgment 2, because one, it felt more manageable, then also it felt I liked the detective thing. I like how unique and different that story felt. And like, I think for me, I look at Stranger Than Heaven and have that similar feeling as you of, oh yeah, like you're doing something interesting here as far as putting you in a different time period. And like, yeah, like it seems like a detective, like cool thing. And then also I look at combat for the game and I'm like, the combat looks fun as well, right? Like it looks like the action combat that we get in earlier Like a Dragon games, mixed with like something a bit more slower paced and deliberate. And I'm all about that.
And, you know, I like a good story that's going to be surprising in ways. We'll talk more about that later. I like a weird story. But yeah, I'm curious to see like what ends up being like the story, maybe a little bit more grounded, maybe not as like robust and sort of out of left field.
Yeah.
I only know based on the like gameplay I've seen of like other games from the studio. But yeah, I'm excited to play it. I don't need it right away. It's okay. It can take its time.
That also, I think it's nice to see RGG take their time a bit and like not have a game released like every 6 months. That said, I wouldn't be surprised
if
they
like
announced another Yakuza game to come out in January.
I definitely wouldn't write that off. That can definitely happen.
Story number 6, Peak has sold 1 million copies. I'm pulling directly from Noble on Twitter, who tweets, Peak has sold over 1 million copies in its first 6 days after release. And he pulled some art there that I assume is from the Peak development team, celebrating 1 million copies sold. Are you familiar with Peak?
Watch the trailer and I'm instantly sold.
It looks so cool, right?
It looks like the concept looks so much fun. Like I texted Kayla and I was like, hey, we got to stream this game. We got to play it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what a cool co-op experience. And yeah, 1 million copies, 6 days, wild.
So I was going to save this for Wii News, but then I thought about it more and decided it deserved to be a full news story, mainly because it comes off of, did you listen to the KHD a few weeks ago? It must have been at this point. That was from, there was a news story about Aggro Crab, and they put up a blog post basically saying that they had shelved work on Going Under 2, which is going to be their next big game after putting out another Crab's Treasure. And they were just burnt out. I think funding fell through as well.
Yeah.
And so they were like, all right, we're going to take a break from this. Let's do a game jam and create a couple of side projects. And Peak was one of those side projects. And for that to hit 1 million copies, like I looked up, I'm going to look it up again, right? Another Crab's Treasure sold, and this is from Game World Observer that I'm pulling from, right? But this news story says another Crab's Treasure sells 500,000 copies across all platforms in just under 3 months. So like you're talking about their last big game selling 500K in just over 3 months. And in 6 days, this like side project they made has caught such steam and has sold 1 million copies in 6 days. That's fucking awesome.
Truly a beauty in like letting developers like, yeah, I love when that's such a cool story that it came from just like a side brain project, like just like, hey, let's see what we can play with and get something out the door, and it ends up being one of the most successful things they're able to put out there. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, and like this is a game. If you're interested in Peak, right? Like if you don't know what Peak is, if you're an audio listener and not seeing the video, right? Like it's a climbing game that has like some fun art style there, fun personality, but you're also playing it co-op with friends, and so you're talking to them as they're climbing and doing all this stuff,
carrying them around if they get knocked out. Like that's great.
And it's only $5 on Steam.
Yeah, can't beat it. That's
which
awesome.
is huge for it, right? And I know Another Crab Treasure was I think $25 to $30, and so. You know, lower price, but I think still 1 million in the first 6 days. I imagine you're gonna sell a lot more in the weeks to come. Like that money is gonna, I think, stack up for them, and you know, I hope that success leads into the future for them, because that's really cool. That's really cool to see.
It's a win. It's awesome.
Story number 7. Sonic Racing CrossWorlds reveals Nickelodeon collaboration. I'm pulling from Wesley Yin-Poole at IGN. Earlier this month, Sega confirmed Sonic Racing CrossWorlds guest characters such as Hatsune Miku, Ichiban, Kasuga, Joker, and even Joker from Persona 5, not the clown, and even Steve, Alex, and Creeper from Minecraft. But the guest characters do not stop there. Sega has announced a Nickelodeon collaboration that brings Spongebob SquarePants to the track and teased Avatar and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle characters down the line. The trailer shows off SpongeBob SquarePants and Patrick Star racing the Patty Wagon. Do you remember the Patty Wagon?
No.
It's a vehicle shaped like a Krabby Patty from the SpongeBob SquarePants series, and they're racing that across a Bikini Bottom track. Let's fucking go. We're so back. We've won, Jerica.
Yeah, it appears anytime you ride around a Krabby Patty, I think you have. That's cute. I love how, you know, have you been able to play this at all?
No, but I've seen previews, and it seems like people are liking it.
I have. I haven't played either, but yeah, based on what I'm hearing, like it's a good time, and you know, like that's always the biggest wish for me with like when it comes to like Mario Kart. Like I always love to see more characters introduced, and like I think the wackier the better for party like kart games is obviously a fuel for what brings people back to these games. If they introduce more characters, like I might hop back in. Like, and I just wonder how far they're gonna go into the future, like adding additional characters and stuff.
Yeah, I want to address the comment because there's a comment in chat that says, "Shout out to SpongeBob for getting his license." And I need you to remember, you don't need a license to drive a Krabby Patty.
Oh,
that was explicitly said.
Okay.
Yeah, in the SpongeBob series, I believe it was the SpongeBob movie.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so
law.
You're fine. Yeah,
you're
SpongeBob
good.
does not need his license to drive a Krabby Patty.
Good to know.
I fucking love this. And talking about future collaborations, right? The fact that you're getting Avatar and you're getting TMNT, I think is dope. And I think they're building this up as something that's really fun and really cool and really special, I think, right? It's funny coming off of Mario Kart World and this game coming out in the same year as Mario Kart World. Probably might do it a little bit of a disservice, but I think Sega has made really great kart racers in the past. I've heard a lot of great shit about Sega All-Star Racers Transformed.
Same.
And I played a little bit of that game, and that game's fun. That game's a really fun game from what I played, but people swear by it. The Team Sonic racing game that came out a few years ago on Switch, I don't think was as great as those games, but the previews are making this one seem like a return to form for Sega, which is super exciting. But I think really what's gonna pull it together is the IP of it, right? Because like I think Sega could have easily done this as a Sega crossover thing, like they've done with Racing Transform, and had it be all right. Ichiban, Joker, not the clown, Crazy Taxi, Jet Set Radio, and like they could have continued down that path. I think it's way smarter to go after Nickelodeon characters and have it be a thing of SpongeBob, and have a Minecraft characters in there, and getting TMNT. I think there's a bit more brand synergy there than Sega might have within their own franchises.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's IP that people can like. Ooh, I want to play that game. If I see Donatello like riding in a cart, like it's everyone's in this game. I think it's also very smart.
Yeah, and like I think kids. I mean, kids I think are going to identify more with SpongeBob
Yeah.
and Sonic and Donatello more so than they might with. No offense to Ichiban, because I love that Ichiban.
I know, yeah, that's cool.
But I don't think the Ichiban speaks to the kids in that way.
No.
And also, I think that's also them using the Paramount
Yeah.
connections they have with the Sonic movie, and then also Paramount owning Nickelodeon and all that stuff, right? Like, a lot of this makes sense and really speaks to my own inner child heart.
Yeah.
Because if you're my age, you grew up with SpongeBob. SpongeBob is very important to you, right? And it's same thing with Sonic. And so seeing fucking Sonic collab with SpongeBob, I don't know, it makes my inner child happy, and so I can't wait for this. Let's talk about story number 8. A Duke Nukem TV series may be coming from the producer of the Devil May Cry and Castlevania animated shows on Netflix. This is Andy Chalk at PC Gamer. Have you ever thought to yourself, boy, I sure would like a Duke Nukem TV series? Well, you might be getting one anyway, as Adi Shankar, producer of the Devil May Cry and Castlevania shows on Netflix, said in an interview with Esquire that he's acquired the rights to make one. Quote, I got video games in production. Obviously, more Devil May Cry, Shankar said. Quote, I'm being approached with different IPs and companies that want to work with me. I bought the rights to Duke Nukem, not the gaming rights, but I bought it from Gearbox, end quote. His vision for Duke Nukem, he continued, is, quote, a middle finger to everybody. When Duke Nukem blew up, a bunch of people sat around trying to turn it into a brand when it's just a middle finger. Duke Nukem can't be made by a corporation because the moment a corporation makes Duke Nukem, it's no longer Duke Nukem. I don't intend on having anyone tell me what to do on this one, end quote.
Okay.
Jerica, what does that do for you?
I mean, I'm going to fall in that category. I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have ever thought I needed a Duke Nukem TV show or another way to... I've never played the games. I know of it. It's, but it's surprising. I don't know if this will land with everybody, or I don't know. Is this a smart decision?
I mean, if you're asking me,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a smart decision, but I think it's an Adi Shankar decision.
Yeah.
It lines up with Adi Shankar. I think if anybody can make a Duke Nukem show that is true to Duke Nukem, it's probably Adi. Especially coming off of the Castlevania and Devil May Cry shows, which are really good. I think that's a track record that might actually lend itself to, all right, you have the talent to make it happen, and then also you have the attitude and probably also the divisiveness to make a Duke Nukem thing feel authentic to it. I don't think anyone, and this is one of the few times where I'm going to make a very blanket statement.
Okay.
I don't think anyone asked for a Duke Nukem cartoon. Except for Adi Shankar. They probably asked for one, right? But for the most part, I don't know if there's an inherently built-in audience for a Duke Nukem animation. But I think Adi could maybe create one.
You're right.
Maybe you can make a small one.
Listen, I'm always down for more. I think we're in a new age of seeing more unique animation and especially having more games being told versus. I think animation is a smart move for a lot of games versus live action. So the more games that we're seeing animated in different forms is I'm a fan of.
Yeah.
So I'll be here to see what it is. I'll show up day one.
Yeah.
With my middle finger. I don't mind.
For me, it strikes me as I think there's such low expectations.
Yeah.
/ no expectations for what you do with Duke Nukem. Because I've played a couple of Duke Nukem games in my life, right? One of the classic or OG Duke Nukems I remember playing. I never beat them. Don't get me wrong. But I picked them up or whatever. And then Duke Nukem Forever, I played the demo on PS3.
Okay.
And as soon as I put my hand in a toilet and threw shit in the game, I was I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if this is speaking to me. But I think the expectations are so not there for a Duke Nukem thing that really I imagine that Adi Shankar is gonna go in and basically paint this however he wants within paint the story, paint the character, paint the world however he wants. I think this is a free sandbox and playground for Adi to just I don't know,
make it relevant,
expressive, be divisive, be crazy in it, and do your thing. I guess
it's a good IP to be able to do that with. I agree.
Jerica,
yeah,
I'm very curious on if a Duke Nukem TV series could be big.
Could it?
But if I wanted something smaller, say the tiniest news I needed to know about,
yes.
where would I go?
the Wii News channel, where we cover all the small news items you need to know about.
Story number 9 is Wii News. Carolyn Polachek on the Beach is out now. Of course, it's been a long saga of getting here. Me and Roger going to Kojima Productions, Roger handing Kojima a Carolyn Polachek album, Kojima listening to it and falling in love with Carolyn Polachek's music, getting Carolyn Polachek to make music for Death Stranding and make like the title track for it, right? And so if you want to listen to the song is out now. Of course, Death Stranding 2 is not that far away if you want to like go into the game and experience it unspoiled. What up?
Were you close enough to Kojima where you could smell him? Not in a creepy way, but I want to know his scent.
You're not the first person to ask me that.
I feel like he wears something great, you know?
You're not the first person to ask me that.
I'm so glad, thank God.
Even when I'm like, I don't know, like not like a far distance from somebody, I'm never getting in like heavy enough whiffs to smell people. Like it's rare that I smell somebody.
I mean, there might not be wearing something that strong, you know?
And I don't think he was wearing, I don't think he was wearing anything.
It might just be no scent.
I think I don't think he had a scent to him.
No scent, dang it.
Like usually if I'm smelling somebody, that means I'm at a fighting game event.
oh yeah, you know, you can't miss that scent.
Yeah, I'm at a convention or they have something on.
Yeah.
But if you have nothing on, maybe it's my deviated septum. I don't really smell people like that.
Yeah. Well, I'll find out one day.
Yeah, so sadly. But yeah, maybe one day you'll hang out with Kojima.
I'm sure he's fine with me taking a sniff.
See what that's about. So here's the thing, right? Finally, now that the Death Stranding 2 review embargo is up and this song is officially out, I can talk about it with no restraint. Because I've had to play it very safe. Because if y'all didn't know, when we first got confirmation that Carolyn Polachek's On the Beach is in Death Stranding 2, I'm pretty sure that was a breaking embargo situation where somebody had written a thing that they weren't supposed to write.
Ooh.
And so me playing it careful, I couldn't actually talk about like when I experienced this in the game. And again, I'm not gonna ruin the moment for people who want to get there because the game's so close. But I will say when I was at Kojima Productions and I was doing the 30-hour preview thing, right?
Yeah.
I hit the song. I immediately I'm like, oh shit. Like I had like a moment where I'm like, oh fuck, like Carolyn Polachek is in the game.
It's happening.
I immediately take off my headphones, like in a cold sweat. I take off my headphones, pause the game, and I pick up my phone, or I walk away because we couldn't have our phones at the station.
Yeah.
I walk away and I start texting Greg. I was like, Greg, Carolyn Polachek has a song in the game. Like, how do we surprise Roger with this? And then he ended up not being surprised because they reported about it. I wanted him to like experience this in the game.
Yeah.
But we were never gonna get there.
Dang.
Like there are too many like things that would have spoiled this for him. But that happened. And like literally like as I'm walking away, Jeff Keighley was also at the event. I didn't mention that part. But Jeff Keighley was there, and like Jeff Keighley looks at me and he's like, you hit the song yet? And I was like, Jeff, I just did it. I'm still reeling. Yeah, like it was a really, really cool moment to have that experience in real time of like seeing Carolyn Polachek on the beach pop up like, in the game. What? Fucking mind blowing. But then this is how like, you know, I'm so fucking bad at lying and keeping secrets, where I get back here, right? And like I do KFGD, I do my preview or whatever, and then like I come out of one of the shows and I see Roger, and like Roger like starts catching up with me, and he's like, "Oh, dude, was Carolyn in the game?" And I looked at Roger and I was like, you know, we'll see. I wish she was in the game. That'd be cool, right? That'd be cool. I don't know how to lie. It was so fucking obvious that she was, and thank God that somebody had leaked that she was in the game, because I couldn't have held that much longer. Anyway, more Wii news for you. Nintendo has fixed its London Underground ad, which claimed Metroid Prime 4 was out now. Dune Awakening sales surpassed 1 million copies. Cyberpunk 2077 Update 2.3 has been delayed to an unspecified date. Midnight Murder Club launches August 14th on PS5 and PC. THQ Nordic Showcase is set for August 1st at 12 p.m. Pacific Time. Xbox will be at Gamescom this year. Arc System Works Showcase is set for June 27th at 6 p.m. Pacific Time. 1047 Games, who developed Splitgate 2, has laid off a small number of staff. And then finally, this is from VGC. A fan-made Mario Kart 64 PC port has released with a track editor and ultra-wide support. Wow. And Kevin, if you can pull up one of these videos. This is what I'm talking about right here.
That's awesome.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know we're breaking the Nintendo rules or whatever.
Yeah.
And like, listen, I've not done this, Nintendo. Don't come after me. I'm just showing what the internet's showing off. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
If you're an audio listener, they're playing Mario Kart on ultra wide and it looks incredible. Anyway, I love this, and that's it for Wii News. Thank you for bringing that up, Kevin. Before we hop into You're Wrong, we can take one last peek at Super Chats. Blaster Goblin writes in and says, please give us more KF shows with my best friend Jerica, who has apparently ignored my constant ramblings about Mindseye. Keep killing it, homie.
Oh yeah,
I love how much support you have in the Kind of Funny community.
Listen, I think it's cool. I love it. But yeah, Blaster Goblin, me and him go way back now. Mr. Goblin.
Mr. Goblin.
Yes. Very apparently really good at Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. That's what he streams a lot of.
Wow.
Might hold a record or two. That's what I've been told. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that about you. My bad.
Like a combo record or like a score record.
Something.
That's cool.
One of those things.
Listen, I'm not touching Tony Hawk, but
touchdowns and skateboarding, I guess. I don't know.
Hell yeah. Kebabs writes in and says, I think CrossWorlds has a niche because Mario Kart has moved away from the 3-lap circuits. A lot of folks are itching for a traditional kart racer. I could see it, right? Like, I think there could be something there as far as something that is, a bit more focused, a bit more like separate from Mario Kart. That said, you can have the 3-lap races in Mario Kart Worlds. You just have to click the track. Just don't click the path to the track. If you're playing online and you're voting, you got to hit the plus button and then hit the specific track.
A few extra buttons, but yeah.
Jerica.
Yeah.
That is it for Super Chats. Let's hop into kindoffunny.com/you're wrong, where you write in, let us know what we got wrong as we got it wrong so we can correct it for those watching later on YouTube and listening later on podcast services around the globe. And Jerica, I'm happy to report there are 0 you're wrongs in here. The only one I'm seeing is from Friday's show talking about Wuxia. But aside from that, this thing's empty.
Someone's probably not trying hard enough.
I know.
You know.
Let's go back today. Jerica, that brings us to the end of Kind of Funny Games Daily. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode.
Been a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We're going to talk a lot more.
Yeah.
About Death Stranding 2.
Yeah.
Right after this.
Oh.
Of course, this has been Kind of Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday, we run you through the nerdy news you need to know about live on YouTube, Twitch, and on podcast services around the globe. If you love what we do, support us through the Kind of Funny membership on Patreon or YouTube to get all of our shows ad-free, watch us record them live, and get a daily exclusive show. Enjoy the Games Cast next and the stream after. But until next time, Game Daily.